All right. Well, hello, everybody. I want to thank you all for being here today, taking time out of your day. Let's see, a couple more people coming in, but we'll jump right into it here. I know everybody is busy. Um, how to get found on Google Maps. That's what today's workshop is about, Google Maps. Specifically, if you paint houses or pour epoxy floors for a living, the homeowners looking for you right now, they aren't, scrolling to page two of Google. They're staring at that little map with three businesses on it that Google throws right up there at the top, and they're calling those three, right? They're going to start with one of those and then move on. If they're getting three quotes, it might be all three, but that's where they're starting. So if your shop isn't in that list, you're invisible, right? You're not showing up online at all. And those are the people that we find are most ready to hire. So in the next, 20 or 30 minutes here, I'm going to show you how to get into that map, into that top three, and how to stay there without spending a dime on ads. All right. So moving right into it here. This is what it looks like when it's not working for you. Obviously, you're not getting phone calls from online from your Google profile. And you're probably, bidding against four other guys on a lot of your jobs because the only leads you'll get online are going to be more price shoppers. Meanwhile, there's, the guy down the road who's, doing worse work, but it's got a better Google profile, and he's getting booked out. So that gap online comes down to visibility, right? You're already doing um, yard signs or door knocking, getting referrals, right? This isn't to replace any of that. It's it's adding another level, another source of leads that once you turn that on, you can scale it up and start getting more and more. So, real quick about me, my name is Matt. I run Sharpline. I've been building websites and doing online marketing for the past 15 years or so. And now we do one thing, and that's getting painting and epoxy contractors found and booked through online Google websites, Google profile. So, one of our clients we've managed for the last I think we're going on 3 years now. They pulled in April 43 leads in a single month, and that closed out of that 43 leads, they closed $82,000 in work off it. Now, they're running Google ads, full disclosure, right? That's how they got to that volume of leads. But all of that started with this same map process that we're going to talk about. So this is the foundation to what you're doing online. We see a lot of guys jump straight into ads and they get bad results or poor results, or the return on the investment they spend doesn't end up making sense. And that's why we push this. The Google business profile here makes such a difference early on starting out, to be able to grow your online visibility. So two things changed. First, there's more homeowners that search on their phone. Uh, we see, I think it's over 70% of the leads that we get or that we see coming in, starting from mobile. So they'll go on their phone, they search, painters near me or cabinet repaints, whatever it is they're searching, they're doing it on their phone. And uh, and Google pushes that top three map pack to the top before anything else, right? Sometimes you'll get ads above it, but then it's the maps, and underneath that you get the websites. The second thing is Google has gotten a lot pickier with who shows up in those top three. Obviously, they're always trying to combat spam and fake businesses. So it used to just be get a ton of reviews, you show up at the top, but they've gotten pickier. So now it's more whoever looks or acts like a real business, has an active profile. So they want to see a trusted business in that specific area. So the good news on that is a ton or most of the painters and epoxy guys that we start working with, they either don't have a profile or they've set it up once years ago and they've, never touched it again. So the bar to beat them is still low compared to, those website search results or paid ads. The Google profile it is still low on that bar. So you don't have to be the biggest shop in town, and it doesn't it costs time, but it doesn't have to cost you money. You just have to be the one that Google trusts the most. So the first thing we're going to have, I think it's 3 of these optimization steps. The first one here is tell Google what you do and where. It sounds simple, but Google can't rank you for work it doesn't know you do. And a lot of guys just kind of skip right over this or they miss it. So it's just one of those things you need to check off and make sure you get it right. Most profiles, they'll we've seen a lot of them where they'll just put a contractor as the main category, right? Because a lot of painters do more than just painting. You do drywall repair or other kind of housework. But if you want to show up for painting services, your category needs to be painter. Google reads that specifically. So if it doesn't know you're doing it, you can't show up for it. The next thing after that main category is services. There's ability to add services. So the categories, they're a set drop-down list that you have to go through to pick. You don't have the option to customize it, right? They have the set list. So the service area, that's where you can put in more of your custom services. So cabinet repaints or deck, if you do deck staining, if you do epoxy, you can put it in that service area. And then you need to have a description as well. So you put in a description that has the services, the town you're in, or if you offer services in more than one town, you got to put them all in there. So spell it out, right? Put the category in, put the subcategories in, fill out all those services. The primary category, that's the single biggest lever on your ranking. So get that right. Pick the one that matches your main money work. Like I was saying, don't just put contractor in there if you want to, if you're mainly doing painting. Google, choose the closest one for epoxy. They don't have epoxy flooring in there, so you need to do, I think most of the ones we use now are flooring contractor. So then add a few secondary categories, but only ones you actually do. You don't want to go too broad. So you could add pressure washing, flooring contractor, but don't stuff categories in. Just, don't get too broad. Google will they don't like when it's too watered down. The part most people skip, that service section. This is where the specific work goes, written the way a homeowner actually types it. For a painter, that's interior repaints, exterior cabinet refinishing, deck staining. For epoxy, it'd be more like garage floor coating, basement epoxy, driveway, whatever that is, right? If you do concrete polishing. So add a sentence or two of plain description under each one. Cabinet refinishing and epoxy floors live here as services, not as categories. So this is where those will earn your searches. So set your service area to the actual towns you drive to, not just like a random, or not random, but not like a 50-mile radius. Don't just go big just because you want jobs from everywhere. Google trusts specific over greedy, right? And write a business description in plain English that names your services and your towns. One more that helps a lot, make sure your website says the same services and the same towns as your profile. When your site and your profile match, Google trusts both of them more, and that matching is one of the simplest things you can do to rank better. Fill out every field while you're in there too, hours, holiday hours, A complete profile is really what you're aiming to get. So the second one here, reviews, they're the fuel and the closer on this profile. They do two jobs. They tell Google you're actually legit, and they tell the homeowner that you won't, destroy their house. Most contractors treat them like a nice to have, or don't put a process in place for them, but they really are kind of the backbone to this. The usual move is, ask for a review when you remember after the job's done, or maybe you text a customer um, a couple weeks later, or all your customers at the end of the month, and then you end up getting stuck at maybe double digits, maybe 10 or 11 reviews, and the guys that are ranking in the top three are way above that. And it's not that they have better customers or better jobs. They're just, they have a process in place to ask, and they're asking every single time. So a few things make reviews actually move your ranking, right, in the Google Maps. So first, ask every customer the day you finish your project. So the best way we've seen to do it is in person while they're standing, either, looking at the fresh epoxy or their new colors on the walls. That's when they're the happiest. So send them, if you can text them a direct link right there that takes them right to the profile, that's easiest. But putting a process in place to make sure they get that text, and then later or a couple hours later, they get an email. And then the next day, they get a reminder. Not to bug them too much, but people are busy. You just want to keep it top of mind and make sure they remember that. The second thing is try to get keywords in there. When a customer mentions the actual work in the review, the word cabinets or the words garage floor coating or epoxy in my garage, that helps you show up when the next person searches. When they're searching for those services, right? So you can nudge it like, hey, glad you love the kitchen. The kitchen, if you could mention the cabinet work in your review, that really helps. You don't want to go, I wouldn't say you push too hard, but just saying, if you could mention the epoxy floor, it helps other folks find us, right? Something just kind of simple like that. The third thing is you got to reply to every review, good or bad. So a calm, normal reply to a bad review can often help sell harder than, like five-star reviews. It shows the homeowner what you're like when something goes wrong or when something's not happy. So it shows, the other side of your business. And work your town and the type of work into your replies naturally while you're at it. Again, it's the same as customers putting in the keywords in the review. It's not a huge thing. Getting the review, replying to the review, that's way more important, but that's kind of like the cherry on top. And the one that separates the shops that win is not like a big burst of reviews all at once. It's consistency, like a steady trickle of a few fresh reviews, every month. That beats 10 reviews in 1 month and then nothing since then, right? If you just got a bunch of reviews in January and you haven't had anything since, it's not going to be as good as just being consistent. So the contractors that pull that off usually aren't remembering to ask. They've got it on autopilot, right? They're automating their review follow-up, a quick text, an email that goes out the day the job wraps. That's one of the best ways to keep them coming in without it, if you have somebody else on the job or you got to leave early, once that job's done, the automation sends them the text and the email right there at the end of the job. So one warning to this, we haven't seen it with any of our clients, but don't ever buy reviews. Don't fake the reviews. Google's gotten really good at catching that, and it can really hurt your whole profile. All right, so number 3 here, an active profile beats a finished one. So just like the consistency with the reviews of getting a few reviews every month, Google doesn't want a profile that's just filled out, right? That's obviously step one is filling it out, but it wants a profile that's active, a profile that you use every week. That'll beat one that is just filled out and abandoned. So most contractors upload a few photos when they set the thing up and then never post again. So to Google, that profile looks like a business that might be closed or might not be doing work, especially if they're not adding reviews to it. So they're not going to be sending homeowners to a shop that looks asleep. So there's three weekly habits that we like to use. The first one is photos. So add fresh job photos every week. Taken on your phone at the job site, real easy. They don't have to be professional photos. Just, if you could do before and afters, those are always the best. But taking, even with, if your guys are in there or if, all the prep work's been done, you're taking a photo of that, any in progress stuff, any type of photo on the job that makes it real, is going to be great. So uploading those photos to your profile. And we usually want to do that at least once a week if you can, but uh, anything's better than nothing, you can put it that way. The number two is posts. Google lets you post like a mini social feed. So it's just, same with posting a photo at the job. You can just write a quick line like working on this cabinet repaint this week. And that's it. You can add a call to action. So you can add a button to it that just says, call us for a free quote if you're interested in something like this. So just that keeps that part of it active. Number three is messaging. So you have the ability to turn on chat on the profile so customers can text you or message you straight from the profile. And another thing, Google rewards those customers or businesses that respond quickly. And a lot of time, the first one to respond, as you know, will get the job or get the opportunity first. So if you can't sit on your phone all day, having those replies go out automatically, it still keeps those leads from going cold. When you're out on a job or talking to another customer, a message reply can go out automatically that is like, hey, sorry we missed you. We'll follow up in a few minutes, or go to our website and fill out an estimate form, whatever it is, making sure that they're just not forgotten. Now, quick heads up, or no, wait. Sorry, I lost my place here. None of this is hard. It's just, you just got to be consistent. And consistency is exactly what beats the guy who, set the profile up and walked away. So putting this in place to remember to do it week to week, month to month, that's going to be the best thing. So that's it. Those are the main three things that we see help the most. Filling out the profile all the way, and making sure you have your categories and your services in there, getting reviews consistently, and uploading photos and adding posts also consistently week to week. Those are the main things, right? They're not hard to do. They just need to be done. We have a handful of smaller things that kind of add up as well, just that we've seen working with different contractors. So keep your name, address, and phone number identical everywhere. So on your website, on your Google profile, if you're on other directories like Yelp or Houzz or whatever it is, they need to look the same. So Google's gotten better about recognizing them. If you have a suite number in your address in one place and you don't have it in another place, you just don't want to confuse Google. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to recognize, okay, this is a legitimate business. All these profiles are the same company, and that helps you move up in those rankings. You got to make sure your website is fast and it works on a phone. I talked earlier about how matching that up to your Google profile is super helpful. Um, that map and the website, they work together. So when someone, if you have good reviews and an active profile, and then someone clicks through to your website, if your website is slow and clunky, uh, you'll lose that job that you just earned from your profile. Use your real business name on the profile. Don't try to cram keywords or towns into it. You'll get suspended. Your profile will get taken down. It's not really worth the risk, and it kind of hurts your branding online. And then keep an eye on where your leads actually come from. We put tracking numbers in any of the profiles we use, and it just forwards directly to the main office line, but you want to know where your leads are coming from. So you know where to turn the dial, right? In your online world. Where are you getting calls from the Google profile? Are you getting calls from your website? Where are they actually coming from? That way you know where to put your time in. And then of course keeping the profile fresh, right? If you have a new service, add it in, go back and add it in. If you took off pressure washing, you don't want to put it as a service or whatever it is, go take it out. Google likes matching those up. Yeah, like holiday hours. If you've changed your hours, if whatever that is, just keep it updated. The profiles that we see win are the ones that are the most look the most lived in, I guess you can say. So hopefully that all helps. Like I'm saying, I've said a few times, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's all very easy work to do. It just takes that time and consistency to do it to make sure you move up in those rankings. Now, of course, we are a marketing company. We do this every day, the same exact thing, that whole playbook. It works. It's proven. And it's also a lot to keep up with when you're already running crews or bidding jobs. So that's why we have it together as a program. We've used to just try a bunch of different things, but as we've narrowed it down and found out what works is specifically for painters and epoxy, we've built this foundation program. So it all just gets handled for you. So the investment, it's real plain and simple. The foundation program is $497 a month, month to month. For anyone that's made it this far, thank you. And we're also giving a discount. It's only $297 per month as long as you're a client with us. And with that investment, what you get is it covers everything we just went over. You also get a lead generating website. So it's built to turn customers or visitors into customers, specifically for painters. We know the main elements that help the most. You get that full Google profile optimization. We have automated lead follow-up. So if somebody calls, you miss the call, it texts them back right away with whatever you want that message to say. Usually it's something like, hey, sorry we missed you. If you want to schedule an estimate, here's the link. And then helping with that review funnel. So a 5-star review funnel that it asks after every job. So you mark that the job's done, and an automatic text message and an email go out to your customer to get those reviews on autopilot. So taking those things off your plate so you can do what you do best. And then we do on-site SEO, just some technical stuff that just makes sure your website matches your Google profile, and it backs up everything your profile is doing and making sure you're getting the most visibility that you can online. So again, quick recap. Tell Google what you do and where you do it. Get reviews coming in after every job, and keep your profile active every week. So you do those 3 things, you'll climb up in the map. If you want help putting that in place, reach out to us. You can book a strategy session, and we'll go through everything with you specifically. But thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.